Yo, what's going on, man? Today is May the 24th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we are live on Twitter, also live on YouTube as well. If hopefully it's not this way, but if the show is a little choppy, it is because I'm on my MacBook. My MacBook seems to work a tad bit worse than my HP, which I typically like to do for my shows, but it's dead and I can't find my charger. So we doing the show. We trapping off the MacBook today, trying to get some cash in NBA and the WNBA. We only got 2 games on the board, so we're gonna jump right into it for today, man. Appreciate everybody for being here. If you can, do me a favor, hit the like button for me as you join, and we're gonna jump right into it for today, man. Like I said, only 2 games, should be a bit of a slower, smaller show. So let's jump into it for today. Yesterday did give out one play. Man, WNBA been cashing, man. The WNBA been cashing. Everything I said yesterday on the show, cash. But I ended up only playing Boston first half minus the 5. They started off slow out the gate in the first quarter, but came on strong in the second quarter, and ended up getting up by double digits. And Pascal Siakam almost covered the first half with a late flurry as well. So 1-0 yesterday in the NBA. Slowly but surely, making it back. It's been a great couple of days, so hopefully we can build on that and kind of keep it moving in the right direction. I will tell you guys, I'm not super high on today's games though. It's 2 games in the combined for the NBA and WNBA. I'm not super high on them, but I'll give you guys what I'm looking at. As far as the T-shirt giveaway, if I'm being honest with you guys, I didn't even check and see who won, but I'll double check it. Well, I will check it to see if anybody picked yesterday's game right between Boston and Indiana. There's a lot of people liking Indiana plus the 9. Of course, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, but honestly, I don't think it was going to matter. I talked about, Boston, having the full attention of the Indiana Pacers after that scare in game 1, and that's exactly what we saw after the first quarter ended yesterday. So for tonight's game 2, Western Conference Finals, Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves. All of the members you guys can pick. Let me know who you think is going to win the game and what you think the projected score is going to be. So will it be Minnesota 110-100, Dallas 105-102, whatever you think the score is going to be. 1 guess per game. First guess is your only guess, and your entry you got all day to make it, just before tip off. So that's that. Let's see if I can go through the comments real quick. I feel like it's not too many comments, but I should be able to get through a couple of them real quick before we jump into today's game. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. What up to my guy Justin Prolific says, good morning, Chris. Should have played WNBA. Knew the Liberty wouldn't cover. I didn't think that they were gonna lose though. Shout out to the Sky, man. This team plays hard for Teresa Weatherspoon. I think Williams is underrated as a center, what she was able to do against Jonquel last night. I know Jonquel got in foul trouble, but man, Maria Mabry, this team is good, man. I like the Chicago Sky, and they are projected to be one of the 4 worst teams in the W this year. So it's going to be a lot of value. Well, I don't know how long it's going to be around, but it's going to be some value for sure. Betting on Maria Mabry in the Chicago Sky. Let's see. Derwin says, good morning. Matter of fact, let's go back real quick. Derwin says, good morning, ChrisBeCappinn. Looking to do some membership info. Looking to do membership, need info. So Derwin, the link to join the channel is always going to be in the description of every YouTube video. So you just click on that link and you can join up. What up to my guy, Derek, Eric in here as well. Dano, good morning, my brother. Chill, what's going on? He says, yo, gang, good morning. WNBA Big Cash. Donovan says, top of the morning, Chris, and to the whole community. Thank God it's Friday. Right there with you on that for sure. Mom is just the best. Says, good morning, everyone. Hope it's been nothing but green. Who's going to have a better first half, Kyrie or Luka? I have no real opinion on that. Mom is just the bet. But it does feel like Kyrie could potentially dial it back a little bit today. He had a message to prove in game 1. I think we can all agree with that. What up, Tasha? Derek says, I think Kyrie goes over his points prop, but Luka under, double Luka. Okay. I don't know about that, Derek. Okay. What else we got in the comments before we get started on today's game? What up, Frankie? Appreciate you for being here. Let's see. Takri says Boston didn't cover their team total for the first half, but did for the game. Yeah. That NBA can get a little tricky at times, man. They actually didn't shoot the ball well in the first quarter. Only had like 20, 25, 27 points. It was pretty interesting for sure. Life's a drip, says Chris. You the man, bro. Your growth has inspired me to start a channel. Appreciate all the work that you do. Great picks and insight. Appreciate that, Life's a drip. Best of luck, man. I hope your channel does well. I absolutely do. James, definitely catching the Sky game or two this year. What up, Chris? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, my brother. I hope all is well with you, James. Yeah, Sky should be fun, man. Angel Reese out there. Sky got some nice young players as well. I like the Sky team, man. I really do. I think there's some dogs. If they're catching big points, I'm typically going to be looking that way or no way at all, just because of how hard they play. Tasha says she likes Dallas 104, Timberwolves 108. Okay. Bitsy, what's going on? Peasy, top of the morning to you as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. Like I said, it's only one game. We're down to the finals, so it's only going to be one game on the board for all these games. So Dallas, of course, lost game number. Game one, came in and stole one. We were on the correct side. Minnesota plus the 4.5. Also, Dallas team total over the 101. Now we got a game two. Does Minnesota bounce back? I think that they do. Do they cover the full number? This line opened, I think, at 4.5. It quickly went up to 5. Now I see some 5.5 popping up. Totals pretty much stayed the same. I think they do bounce back. So where I want to start is, I want to start here. So this is a quote by Chris Finch. You guys can see it. I'll read it for the people who can't, like that is too small to read for. It says, yeah, it was a rough film session. This is Chris Finch talking about the film session that they had yesterday after, being able to watch what happened in game one. Yeah, it was a rough film. It was a rough film session. Finch told reporters at a practice in Minneapolis on Thursday. I told the guys, it's been a long time since I've been this disappointed in your effort. Your performance, your attitude, your application, and your attention to detail just wasn't there. The Western Conference Finals started. Not sure if they got the memo, but they got it this afternoon. So I like to hear quotes like this when I want to back a team that's coming off a home loss that's a home favorite off a home loss, especially in the Western Conference Finals. So this bodes well in my opinion. I do think that the Minnesota Timberwolves came out a little. I wouldn't say they came out flat, honestly. I know Anthony Edwards said that. I listened to Naz Reid talk about them coming out flat. I wouldn't say that they came out flat because they were shooting the three-point ball so well in the first half. And they were winning at the end of the first quarter. Like I wanted to say they got out to close to a double-digit lead. I know they were up by like 7 or 8. So I don't think it's necessarily that they came out flat. I think it just wasn't sustainable just because they were coming off the game 7. Remember, we always bet against teams most of the time. You want to bet against a team that's coming off of game 7, especially when they had to come back in that game 7. So, yeah, I think that was a big part of it. I don't think the whole flat thing is like, to my opinion, that don't have anything to do with it. If we go through and just kind of look at the game, though, outliers here. I always like to bring this up so you guys can see it. I put to the right side everything that kind of stood out to me. The Mavs shooting 49.4% from the field. I think that they shoot worse from the field today. This is a Minnesota Timberwolves defense that is the best defense. Chris Finch had a chance to go through and kind of, look at the tape and see what adjustments need to be made. Probably less drop coverage for Rudy Gobert. His defense was good. He was a plus 10, I think, overall. But you see Kyrie and Luka, they really like, being able to pull him away from the rim. And then you see the points in the paint, absolute domination. I think that was the biggest takeaway. I didn't even put it on the right-hand side, but I think that was the biggest takeaway because when you pull Rudy Gobert away from the rim, look at how many points in the paint Dallas Mavericks scored. They scored 62 points in the paint. They didn't even shoot the ball well. They shot 6 for 25 from the three-point line, only 24%. So I could definitely see them regressing here, but I do like positive regression here. But I also think Minnesota, they'll just be a little bit more locked in, a little bit more dialed in. The defense will play a little bit better. Expect them to make a few more free throws. They only shot 61%. All of this, in my opinion, has to do with, tired legs and, maybe just not having a sense of desperation in game one. Minnesota, they took 49 threes and shot 11 for 25 in the first half specifically. They were 44% from the three-point line. We're only winning the game by 3, but then in the second half, which as you expect from a team coming off of Game 7, they shot just 7 for 24 from the three-point line, only 29% for the remainder of the game after halftime. And Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards only shot 12 for 36 as well, just 33% in the game combined. And a lot of it was, I think Dallas, shout out to Jason Kidd, he had a hell of a game plan for Game 1. It was to make the other guys beat you, like, Mike Conley, who didn't play really well. Jaden McDaniels, all of those threes that Jaden McDaniels shot wasn't by accident. They want Jaden McDaniels to have to beat them. And he was in the first half. He hit 4 or 5 threes, I think, before he even missed one. And I think he finished 6 for 9 from the three-point line. And then, you want slow-mo, guys like slow-mo to beat you as well. So Minnesota, I think, will continue. I think Dallas, I should say, will continue to try to make other guys beat them, not necessarily giving the ball to Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert to try to beat you. So with the quote that I just showed you guys and looking at the outlines and how I think Game 2 will go, and then looking at the trends, right? Always looking at the trends. So the biggest ones, of course, are the regular ones. It's the home favorite who lost Game 1, but then they opened up as a favorite in Game 2. You guys can see the numbers there, 71-18 straight up. They're winning the games about 80% of the time. 52, 36, and 1 against the spread, covering about almost 60% of the time. They're +7 in the first half, so typically the desperate team comes out and plays well early. And then you got since the 2020 season, 13-3 straight up. Same trend, just narrowing it down to the last 4 years. 13-3 straight up, 12-4 against the spread, 75%. They're +8 in the first half as well. And if the home favorite was coming off a Game 7, this hasn't happened that often. So home favorite down 0-1, but they're favored in Game 2, and they previously played a Game 7. 9-2 straight up, only 5-6 against the number, but 8-3 to the under. And it's typically a better defensive effort. You guys can see they're also a +8 in the first half. So that's what I like in the game, man. I kind of like Minnesota early. I think that they will come out with a sense of desperation. I think the first half is, when I went to sleep last night, it was a -3.5. I haven't even checked the number, if I'm being honest with you guys today. But I like Minnesota to bounce back here. I do think we see a sense of urgency. I think the defense will play a little bit better. And it'll be up to Dallas, who did get really good shots, but they'll have to make guys like PJ Washington was pretty cold in that game. I think he shot just 2 for 9 from the three-point line. You're going to need guys like Derrick Jones Jr. to make some shots, depending on guys like Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy when he gets in. So I do like Minnesota to bounce back early. I just think that they're going to be desperate. You can't go to Dallas down 0-2 if you want to win this series. So those are my thoughts on the game. I didn't play the full game. I haven't played anything, if I'm being honest. But Minnesota early, first half is my favorite look in this game here. And I couldn't talk to anybody else full game either. Let's see what you guys are seeing. DJ Prop says, "Good morning, Chris. This is a live betting spot for me. If Anthony Edwards doesn't start out guarding Kyrie, I will be laddering his points to 35. Okay. Patrick says Dallas will cover again. Frankie says, Chris, I bet the Wolves to win the series after the game 1 loss. I like the books making a mistake and overreacting on the price. But are there any trends that support the Wolves winning the series? I would have to look into it. I don't have time to do it right now for you, but this is something I'll look into. I can remember this comment. John says that trend about favorites winning but not covering in Game 1 really came through for Boston. Yeah, I told you guys that, man. It's something about waking up a sleeping dog, Like if the home favorite, feels like they squeaked out a win, but they didn't cover. Typically, you want to play them in the next game. And we had already talked about that. I think it was Smokey Steam Bets in the comment section that was, pretty aligned with me there. I told you guys yesterday I thought it was a Boston spot, but I played first half just because 9 is a lot of points. The difference between Boston and Indiana, though, just real quick, going back to that game, is Indiana's a great offensive team. Boston is a great offensive team and a great defensive team. So when they need to, they can really rely on their defense, and that's what we saw yesterday. That's how you could go on 9-0 runs, 7-0 runs, 12-0 runs, 15-0 runs, 17-3 runs, is when you have a great defense and a great offense. And that's the part that I feel like people forget about Boston. Even if their shot's not falling, they can still be locked in completely on the defensive end, and that's what we saw last night. Derek says he got Minnesota plus 130 to win the series. I like it. I already told you guys. I put Minnesota plus 290 to win the championship. I do think that Minnesota will figure it out and win the series. Maurice likes Luka over his points. Life's a Drip TV says, I like the Wolves first half pick. The angle makes sense. I expect them to come out dominant and play the defense that they're known for. I agree there. Twain Mitchell says, I think this is a 6-game series. Who you like, Twain? Who you think will win it? And then one more comment. Life's a Drip says, if they keep protecting the paint, they will force Mavs to shoot more, and they aren't the best shooting team. Yeah, they can get hot, but they can be streaky as well. So I agree with that comment. 1 W game for today. Let's push through to it. We got the Indiana Fever and the Los Angeles Sparks game. We played at Crypto.com Arena tonight. This line was at 2.5 when I made the graphic last night. I think now it's down to 2. So some money coming in, saying that the Sparks shouldn't be 2.5 point home dogs here. Total sitting at 163.5. Hasn't really moved a lot at all. Let me get to my W notes real quick. So this is a game I also don't feel like super duper confident in. Haven't played this one yet either, but I'll give you guys what I'm looking at here if I was to make a play. So the Indiana Fever coming to this game, one of the only teams in the WNBA that hasn't won a game yet. They are 0-5 straight up, 3-2 against the spread though, and they have covered 3 straight games. They've actually, I think their last 3 games have actually been 1-possession games. They just can't figure out how to close. And it makes sense. They got a very, very young team over there. Some regression from Aaliyah Boston from last season as she's trying to get acclimated with Caitlin Clark. This is also a 5th game in 9 nights for the Indiana Fever. They've been playing pretty much every other day for the last week and a half. And it's the first leg, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first leg back-to-back for the Indiana Fever as well. I was looking at this game last night. I think I was tired, man. And that's probably one of the reasons why I don't feel too confident in it. I want to say, let me just double-check it real quick. Yeah, no, I'm not tripping. Yeah, the Fever play tomorrow. They play the day in tomorrow. They play the Aces tomorrow. And man, they're gonna get a fired up Aces team. The Aces team is gonna be super fired up after losing. I'm not sure if they end up covering. I see them listed as 12.5 point favorites for tomorrow's game already. But not the greatest spot here for the Fever. The Fever have been playing a little bit better though. Now they get a Sparks team that just got their first win of the season. A couple nights ago against the visiting Washington Mystics. So this team is 1-2 straight up. They're 1-1 against the spread. From a head-to-head perspective, Sparks have won 8 of the last 10, but they've only covered 4 of the last 10. And, we talk about this a lot. I've talked about this to like the Sparks in the last game against the Mystics for people who were watching the show earlier this week. And that's the rest. Sparks have 1 more day's rest before this game against the Fever, and they actually have 1 more day's rest after this game for the Fever, this game against the Fever as well, because they don't play again until Sunday, whereas the Fever got a game tomorrow. Now, the Fever are teetering on a win, and I think that they could potentially come in here and beat this Sparks team. It's not going to be that easy, though. I do think the Sparks are going to be, super fired up. I forgot who performing at halftime, but they got some lady performer, I think it's Tanisha maybe, performing at halftime. Like, I do think the Sparks going to get up for this game. I actually expect some celebrities to be in LA to come out for this Fever and Sparks game tonight. This should probably be the biggest game that the Sparks play this year, especially during the regular season. And the Sparks are no pushover. Like, you got Cameron Brink, Lexi Brown's been hooping. De'Arca Hamby's been absolutely killing it. She's averaging 22 points and almost 14 rebounds per game, shooting 60% from the field. So it's not going to be easy. And I kind of want to take the Sparks as home dogs here. Like I said, the rest advantage. Even though the Fever's been playing great, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to close. And that's what they have really, really struggled to do. I think De'Arca Hamby, Lexi Brown, Clarinet, I think that they can figure it out, man. But I haven't played the game yet, if I'm being honest. I think I'm gonna stay off of it. I think I will stay off of the game, but I think I do lean Sparks plus the 2 as I kind of talk it out. And I don't really have a play on the total. I was listening to Kurt Miller, who coaches the Sparks, and he says, there's so many clips about the Fever getting out and running in transition. He has made it an emphasis to his team to be able to slow down this Fever offense because they do want to get out and run and push the pace as much as possible. Sparks, under Kurt Miller have been known for their defense. Cameron Brink is a solid defensive player as well. So that kind of makes me look towards the under, especially if they're going to try to limit the Fever's offense. But 183.5 is something that, 183.5 is something that I'm not comfortable playing. So I think I'm going to stay off this game altogether. If I do end up making a play, I'll send it out to the members later. But it's not anything that I absolutely love. So yeah, that's that. Let's get into the comments real quick, see if we got any WNBA love in here, and then we'll get into a quick recap and get up out of here. Let's see. Maurice says Luka missed a lot of easy shots that take his points tonight. He made a lot of difficult shots late too, Maurice. I don't know if you saw that, but he took over in the fourth quarter. Let's see. John says, what worries me is the Mavs did not shoot well from three and still won. And I agree with that, John. That's one of the reasons why I stayed off the full game. This comment here from John says the Mavs only shot, I think they shot 24% from the three-point line. So that worries me a little bit too. I stayed off the full game, but Timberwolves have been the best. I think they've been the best third quarter team in the NBA, especially out of the teams that's left in the playoffs. So, if they get to playing the defense that they're capable of playing, really that's what you're betting on here. Their offense can come and go, but defensively, they are the best defensive team in the league. So if you're betting on them, you're betting on, even if the Mavs get some offensive aggression, they take away the points in the paint. I don't think, to your point here, John, I think the counter argument to this, if you do like the Timberwolves, is that the Dallas Mavericks won't get 62 points in the paint, right? So there could be some positive aggression from the three-point shooting. We don't expect them to shoot 24%. We expect them to shoot better. But we also don't expect them to score 62 points in the paint. That number should come down. So it should even itself out. But I was looking at that as well, John. Like that, it kind of scared me just a tad bit. Justin, yes, sir. Your shirt is in my car. I just gotta stop it. Gotta run it by the mail. But yeah, I'll do that today. Justin likes the Fever on the money line here, minus 132 in his pocket. John says, Chris, your thoughts on the over? Yeah, I don't want to sway you anyway, John. Like I just looking into it, man. It's not a spot that I absolutely love as far as the total is concerned here. 163.5 is a super low total. You just asking both teams to get to 80 points, and I kind of feel like they can. 82 points apiece. I feel like they can. But I do want to do a little bit more digging as well. So I won't give you anything super definitive on the total here. Bissy likes De'Arca Hamby over at 10.5 rebounds. Yeah, I just mentioned she's averaging 14, so that makes a ton of sense here. Brandon says the head-to-head between Indiana and the Sparks means nothing. These are completely different teams, and I would agree with this, Brandon, but it's always something that's interesting to note because when I see comments like this, that's typically when they come into play. You're right. Like, these are two different teams for sure. Sparks are in rebuild mode, but we saw, who was it? We saw the Mercury go into we saw the Dream go into Phoenix last week, and I think they did a much better team, but they also lost their game outright. I think the Dream were better than the Mercury without Brittany Griner, and they lost that game outright. For some reason, they just struggled to play in Phoenix. Go look the numbers up. So that's why I bring those numbers up. Legend Killer says Caitlin Clark over points. I don't really have any thoughts on Caitlin Clark in tonight's game, but I couldn't talk you off. She has found her footing, and she's been getting to the free throw line a little bit more too. But her rebounds and assists continue to cash, so that's what I would think. John Skrilla says he likes Sparks +2 in the money line. Aaliyah Boston really hasn't looked good at all. Caitlin Clark shooting 30 free throws, shooting 30 free throw threes is basically a turnover. The coach needs to do a better job. Leah Boston numbers are down. She's shooting less than 40% from the floor. She plays center, so typically that number should be higher. Left Lane says he swept last night. Mystics play 6.5. Yeah, I saw Vanlo covered that by herself, hitting those late threes. Mercury probably should have covered last night, but that's what the Mystics do. They cover. And home favorites continue to not cover. I think they're 1-12 against 112-1 against the spread now. What else y'all saying? Let's see. Life's a Drip says, Chris, would you We'd love to pick your brain on starting a channel. What's the best way to reach out? Know you're a busy guy. Wouldn't take too much of your time. Shoot me a DM on Twitter, like the drip, at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's. I'll get back to you. Definitely get back to you. DJ Pop says feels like an over spot for the Fever and Sparks to me. Okay. Like I said, no real opinion. I want to look a little deeper into the game. If I absolutely love something, I will send it out to the members. Shout out to my guy, Justin. Justin, your shirt should be in the mail today. Brandon says Minnesota has to play faster. The offense won't be as good in the Dallas in the half court. And I could see that. Jay says Lexi and Hamby have been vocal when commenting on discussions around Clark. Sparks coming to play tonight, and I agree. I would agree with that as well, Jay. Like I said, +2. I wish I could have got 2.5, but I mean, it's all still one possession. I just think if the Fever win, Sparks gonna come out there and play really, really hard for sure. They play hard for Kurt Miller. They'll play hard at home, and being a favorite on the road, even though it's a short favorite, and you're 0-5, that's typically a spot I want to fade too. So yeah, like I said, no play though. I don't like it enough to play it. Cool. All right, cool. Quick recap of everything that we just talked about before I get up out of here. We got let's see, Minnesota first half. Like I said, it's -3.5 on most sports books. I think it was a 2.5 out there on like Bet Rivers if people are interested. At least it was last night. And then I didn't talk about this, but Naz Reid to go over his 14.5 points. Definitely a strong lean for me as well here. I just think it's going to be a big Naz Reid game. He went over this line in game 1. His offense is going to be needed, especially if they continue to try to take away Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. I think the 3-point shot will be there for him as well. I think he'll be able to get to the rim. So I do like Naz Reid to go over his 14.5 points. Also, I consider Rudy Gobert to go under his 12.5 rebounds, just thinking that he's going to continue to get pulled away from the rim by Kyrie and Luka. He only had 7 rebounds in game 1, and 12.5 under is -120. So people kind of expecting him to go under the 12.5 rebounds. The books are anyway. So those were 2 props that I considered. I didn't play either one of them yet. And then Sparks plus the points, I think, would be the way that I would look in the WNBA tonight. But I didn't play that game either. Just the lean for me right now, man. Just the lean for me. And that's the show for today. That is all the looks that I have for you guys. Like I said, I hope you guys catch whatever it is that you do play. Resources that I use to cap the games are here. Always want to shout out OddsJam if you guys are interested in checking out their sports betting software. Use code CBC when you sign up. It'll get you 25% off your first month. Link for all my official plays when I do make them will be in the description. If you've made it this far, like the video, share the video if you can, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Best of luck on all your action, man. Bet responsibly. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy Friday, and enjoy your weekends if you guys don't tune back into the show until next week, man. I'll catch you guys later. I'm out.